Hello and welcome back to Inside the Church, this virtual tour around St. Anthony Parish. And Father Mark here as we begin today our tour of these beautiful stained glass windows. And if you're like me, I see these stained glass windows all the time and I can take them for granted, but they really are truly beautiful. And so we'll take a look closer at each one of them and the saints and sacraments that they each depict. And hopefully by now you're kind of picking up that the saints, they are such a power to their lives that they make visible the life of Christ, what it looks like to follow Christ, and each in their unique way. So St. Catherine of the Wheel spoke to the wisdom of Christ, or St. Laura spoke to the serving of the poor like Christ. But each one of them in their different way shows forth how to use our gifts. Then we use our particular gifts, then the whole life of Jesus is manifest in the church. Then the church flourishes. And so today we look at another great saint, St. Clare of Assisi. And I'd say her unique dimension in which she shows forth the life of Christ is her radical boldness. And indeed, all religious life shows that radical boldness of following Jesus. That Jesus was bold, that he spoke the truth with power and authority. Many times throughout the Gospels, they kind of awed at this one speaks with authority. This one stands up to religious and secular authorities. He stood up for the truth. And so St. Clare of Assisi did that as well. That growing up in the 1200s, she grew up in a wealthy family and was very, very beautiful by many accounts, had many suitors, many men wanting to marry her. But in her boldness, she wanted to follow Jesus more deeply. And so at 18, she heard the preaching of St. Francis of Assisi and asked him, "Help me follow Christ more boldly." Eventually, there was many women that came to join her, and they were outside of San Damiano, and they followed kind of St. Francis's teachings to perform the gospel, and they focused on this radical poverty, obedience, and celibacy. As I mentioned, St. Clare was very beautiful. But she said, "I want no other husband than Jesus Christ." And so these women lived in this cloistered monastery where they offered their lives to Christ in prayer and service. As I mentioned, she was very, very bold. And so you see her depicted with this monstrance, with the Blessed Sacrament, our Lord Jesus. And there was twice that there was attackers coming towards the monastery. And St. Clare, in her great boldness and faith, went and grabbed the monstrance, went to the top of the monastery, and held up Jesus and the Blessed Sacrament. And it said that both times the attackers in fear fled from the Blessed Sacrament. And so hopefully you've learned a thing or two about St. Clare of Assisi and the radical boldness of religious life. And until next time, God bless.